2025 is over. The reading of 2025, how did it go? Let's get into it. I still have not been able to duplicate the feeling I had with my reading journey that I had in 2022 after I began reading again after 5+ years of not reading. And I've realized I am never going to, because that was a once in a lifetime, potentially, unless I take another long hiatus, but a once in a lifetime feeling, re-entering the reading world after not. And if I'm reading every year, I'm never going to feel that way again. And that's okay. I need to come to terms with that feeling that I had. I'm so grateful I had it. It's what's driven me to keep reading, but I'm not going to have it again. And that's okay. I read 17 books this year, and I read 17 last year. I read 22 the year before that, and then 24 the year before that. So I stayed on par for last year, but it's still 7 books less than when I re-entered reading. And it's not about quantity, it's about quality and how you feel while you're reading. That being said, 2025 was just not a memorable year for me for reading. Like, I don't remember reading, and I don't understand what that is. I don't know if it's because 2025 saw a lot of anxiety for me. My sleeping got worse, my sleep or nighttime anxiety got worse and things like that. And my inability to read through my big bouts of anxiety, maybe that's why, as opposed to years past. But this year was not memorable for reading. I was just reading to read. I don't know. It's my goal to drink water more, so bear with me. I even tried throwing in a library book to see if that jazzed things up, and it didn't really. So there's that. But one thing I did enjoy that I started and then I stopped was I set a reading goal for myself with each book I started. And I did that for a couple months, where I looked at the calendar and I said, I want to finish this book by this date. So then I had a daily page count to accomplish. And it was fine if I didn't. I just readjusted the page count if I didn't read. But when I was doing that, I was reading more than my page count. It motivated me to read, but I didn't allow myself to feel guilty or get down on myself if I didn't read. And I think because I was feeling so successful, I stopped doing that. And my enthusiasm kind of dipped. So I'm going to go back to doing that again in 2026, of a goal deadline to finish a book by, and see if that helps. I don't know if I'll get to this before I post this video. My goal is to get this video up by the 5th of the month. Fingers crossed. But I was going to do a book bracket and see what my most favorite book of the year was. But at the end of this, you'll see what I read every month. You'll see my Goodreads breakdown and possibly this book bracket. But I have an idea. I think it's going to be Brooklyn is what's going to come out on top. We'll see. But I just felt like I gave more lackluster reviews this year to books. Less 4 stars and more 2 and 3 stars. Oh, I read that. That was a book. Okie dokie. So I guess the word of the year for 2025 reading ended up being unenthusiastic. It happens. I was just looking at my story graph. I keep that private. I don't have that open like I do my Goodreads. And it says I gave most books 3 stars, and I gave 3 books 5 stars. So yeah, 3 stars. I just felt like everything was mediocre. And maybe that was also just my mindset. It was a rough year mentally for me, and that definitely affects my reading and my fire inside to read, and my perception of what I'm reading. And if things are getting too tense or difficult in a book and I'm experiencing bad anxiety, I just won't read, because I can't have stuff vicariously be anxious driven and then my own. That's just too much. I can't have it in fantasy worlds and my real world. I'm needing to escape. So yeah. So 2026 goals, I still want to read 12 books a year. I've been doing that goal forever, like one book a month, and I usually always exceed it. So I'm back at that goal. And maybe if I'm going to go off the top of my head and do like what is a goal otherwise that I have, and maybe it's just be more mindful of what I'm choosing. I know last year I was also choosing just what was easy to get out of my box of to be read books, where I should just take the time and be like, I am not in the mood for this. This sounds good. I was just going, I wonder what I'm going to pick today. And maybe that works for other people, but I don't think it works for me. And then halfway through the year, I stopped marking quotes. Like, it was just becoming too much to mark them up with my little stickers. And that probably had something to do mentally. Like, that was just a mental burden or something. So we'll see if I start that up again. But yeah. And also fingers crossed on my Kindle. For a while, it wasn't charging. Then I figured out the problem. It needed to be like directly in the wall and not like in a station. And now, even when in the wall, it's only charging up to 50%. And granted, Ralphie, my Kindle is 15 years old or something. So, my fingers crossed that he hangs on another year. So, yeah. All right. Let me know how your 2025 year was for reading and what you are hoping for in 2026. Yeah, and also this is like a throwaway comment. Like, I am not your average like book talk person. I am not reading what's trending. I am not reading what's on the tables at Barnes and Noble. I am not reading what people are reading in Discord groups and things like that. So it's like I kind of feel lonely. Not really, but you know what I mean. I'm alone in my reading endeavors because I am not reading what's trendy. And here's the thing, I was never into trendy things. Like, everybody, I still remember, like, in 1997, everyone's running to see Titanic, and I'm like, I don't wanna. I am just not the girl who's seeing and reading and watching the trendy things and listening to the trendy things. And sometimes that can isolate you. So that's kind of rough. I don't know. I keep thinking, oh, I'll start a Discord for historical fiction, and I really don't even know what that means. I don't know. Things to explore. But let me know what's going on in your neck of the woods with reading. And I'll talk to you later. Happy reading. Bye.